What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mina and I make videos every Fridays, and today's video is going to be if I can only bring 30 books with me by Hailey In Bookland, I believe. I will insert her video down below in the description box. I came across this video while I was watching videos and trying to get inspired of what videos to film, because honestly there's only so many you can film in the booktube community other than like hauls and wrap-ups and TBRs. So when I came across this idea, I was really excited about filming it. It caused me a lot of stress. If I were to narrow down all of my books, all of my bookshelf, I have only one. If I were to narrow down all of my books to 30 books, which books those would be and why, and I have a stack with me right here. There are a couple that I don't own a copy of, but I will insert a picture of them when I'm talking about them. And yeah, we're just gonna get started. I think this idea is very fun, and I'm super excited to discuss with you. If your opinions differ on any of the books that I choose, let me know down below which books you would bring with you, or which 30 books you would keep in your collection if you had to get rid of all your books, and why. So let's just get started without any further rambling. So first of all, the first book trilogy that I will be bringing, and I'm counting the trilogies as like not just one series or like one book. I'm counting actually every book in the series. So like if I'm talking about the Mortal Instruments, then however many books is however many less I have, if that makes sense. You'll understand. The first 3 books that I would absolutely keep without a question if I had to narrow down everything on my bookshelf would be the Divergent trilogy, which is Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. This book series, I have like, I don't know if you can see, but I have like 3 different copies of Divergent, and actually 4, just the Divergent book. I have like the movie tie-ins, I have a hardcover and a softcover, or a paperback, and there's a reason for that. This book series helped me through a really tough time in my life. It really inspired me. Tris is my favorite person ever. The first tattoo I ever got was inspired by this book series, and I just am very attached to the story and to the people. I literally, whenever I'm uncomfortable or I'm going through something, this is like my comfort series. I love the characters so much. This is a classic dystopian YA novel, and it just reminds me of better times, worse times, and just of when I was younger. And I love the story, and I love every character in here feels like home to me, so I will absolutely be saving these. Like, I wouldn't save all of the copies of Divergent that I have, I will just be saving a copy of each. But yeah, these are my favorite. I will never be parting with them. And I love these, and these are like what really got me into science fiction. I never used to read science fiction books, and I honestly wasn't going to read this series because it was science fiction or classified as science fiction, but everybody was talking about it on Tumblr at the time, and I was just so sick and tired of hearing about it when I was getting into reading, so I decided to give it a read, and I love it absolutely so much. This is everything, and this is literally, I think, my favorite book series of all time because of how much I am attached to it and how much of a sentimental value it has to me. So yeah, I would definitely be bringing these 3. I will be bringing the Shatter Me books, which are 6 books. Yeah, this book series is everything to me. I love this book series. This book series had me slamming the book against my face at like 4 in the morning when I was reading it the first time. I love the story. I love Julia. I love Warner. I actually haven't read the last 2 books in this series because I don't want it to finish and I don't want it to end, and I just love the characters so much that I'm scared of what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get to it at some point, I promise. I really should have gotten to it this month because it's my birthday month, but I really didn't want to be depressed on my birthday. Warner is my favorite human being on earth. I literally have the word Ignite tattooed on my spine, hence why I chose the copy of Ignite Me. This romance is everything I ever asked for. It's everything. I love this book series so much. I will not tolerate any slander for anybody in this book series, maybe Adam, but yeah, I love this book series so much. It's this classic dystopian YA fantasy-ish novel that was released in like 2014, I believe, and I've been trash for it ever since. I vividly remember the first time I read this series and how I was feeling and how much it made me blush, specifically this book, and how it made me want to slam my head against the wall. And I just have such good memories attached to this book series, and I just love it so fucking much. And if I was going anywhere or if I had to get rid of any books, I would definitely save all of these. And honestly, one of my copies of the later books is signed with my name by Tahira Mafi, and she wrote Ignite on it, so honestly, I can't get rid of these. So yeah, I would definitely be bringing all 6 of these along. And you know what's funny, honestly? My favorite number is 6 too, so that tells you it's fate. Next, I would obviously, for sure, be bringing the Harry Potter series. This is the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, but I would be bringing all 7 books. My copy is destroyed. I honestly, literally, the spine is broken and everything, but I love this book series so much. I love the movies so much. This is my favorite, childhood memory when it comes to books. I grew up watching Harry Potter with my family all the time, and I grew up just loving Harry Potter and the universe and everything. I went to London, and I literally specifically have only ever wanted to go to London because of Harry Potter and then One Direction, but mostly for Harry Potter. Harry Potter was my first crush ever. I loved him to death. I thought he was the cutest little baby to ever be seen. And I just love this book series so much. It's a classic. You absolutely have to have it in your collection. I know J.K. Rowling is a very dividing topic, but in my opinion, if you already own the books, you can kind of do whatever you want with them. So if you're unhauling them, if you're burning them, if you're getting rid of them, if you're keeping them, that's all up to you. And I know she is a shitty person, but I also have paid money for these books, and I don't excuse what she did, not at all. I don't excuse what she said, but I just choose to ignore that it was written by her. I love this book series so much. It reminds me of my childhood, and I will probably never get rid of these copies. So let's discuss the books that I don't own that I would like to be bringing with me to break up all of this craziness of series. I would, just to talk about one series that I don't own that I would really be bringing with me wherever I go, or if I had to narrow it down, I would definitely be buy those and keep them, would be the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. And I would keep it because it simply destroyed me. I went to Prague because of that book series. I was obsessed with Prague for the longest time because of it and because of the story. I love the characters so much. I literally have a wishbone tattooed on the back, behind my ear, and I have a lot of bookish tattoos. But that book series really destroyed me to a T. I love the book series so much. I love every character in there. It's like my home, and I just simply love the stories too much to not own a copy of it. And I just love Laini Taylor's writing so much, and I think she just has a way of creating a world that you just feel so immersed in, and it's impossible to get out for the longest time. And the post-book depression that I experienced when I read that series was unreal. So I would definitely be taking those 3 with me. And then I would be taking, it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini, and this is a book, just a contemporary book set in a mental hospital of this man this boy who is going through a really rough time, and he's thinking about committing suicide, but he ends up calling the hotline, and he ends up going to the hospital, and then he ends up getting admitted for a couple of days, and it's just his story of him being there and his stress with school and everything going on in his life. And I love this book so much. I love the movie so much. The movie not as much as I love the book. I've read this book at least 3 times, and every time I read it, something about it just hurts my heart and hurts my soul, especially because Ned Vizzini, I believe, did end up committing suicide, and it's just such a sad story. And I love that book is like home. That book is like comfort to me. You'll notice a lot with all of the books that I'm taking, they're probably just comfort books that I love so much because they bring me comfort and they remind me of a time in my life where I wish to return, because I'm a very nostalgic person. I don't own a copy of it because I haven't bought one yet, but I will get my hands on one because I love that book so much. And then the last book that I don't own that I will be bringing with me is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She destroyed me. That book destroyed me. When I finished that book, I remember specifically I sat there and I just wanted to sob my eyes out. It's such a well-written book, such a good story. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I absolutely did. I love the book so much. It destroyed me, absolutely. It is my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I've read, and I've read a couple of other works that she's released or published, and I absolutely love her writing. I love the way she creates a world that you feel just so attached to so quickly, and it just feels so personal, and you become so attached to the characters. I read Forever Interrupted and I just absolutely bawled my eyes out. I felt like I was the one going through what the main character was going through. So with Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I literally finished it and I just sobbed for an hour on my own and in my room in the dark, and I absolutely love the book. It is one of my favorite books of all time, and I honestly feel like I can't just keep series. I have to keep some contemporaries and some standalones, because I feel like it'll be better to just not have a bookshelf full of series, because what if I just want to read one book, you know, and not read like 7 or 6 or 5 books in a series. So yeah. To continue with the contemporary standalone train, I would be taken maybe someday by Colleen Hoover. This copy specifically because my sister actually bought this for me. I believe this was the first book she's ever bought me, and I love this book so much. This is a Colleen Hoover novel, so it destroyed me absolutely when I read it. And I went into it not knowing much about it, and I just enjoyed it immensely. This was the first Colleen Hoover book I ever read, and it introduced me to her writing. I now have read almost every work that she's released. I really enjoy her writing. I didn't know what I was in for when I read this book, but it destroyed me. I listened to the soundtrack that came out with this book like 75 times that year, and I just love this book because my sister loved me enough to buy me this book, and I just love it, and I will never be getting rid of it. I love this book, and I love Colleen Hoover's writing, and I just always have a memory attached to this book being the first Colleen Hoover book that I've ever read, and that introduced me to her, and that my sister bought for me. So, and then another book that my sister bought me also, that I will also be keeping, or would be keeping if I had to narrow down my shelves, would be the collected works of F. Scott Fitzgerald, including This Side of Paradise, The Beautiful and the Damned, The Great Gatsby, Tender is the Night, and The Last Tycoon. This is what it looks like. It's a gigantic, ginormous book. My sister bought this for me because she knows I love F. Scott Fitzgerald so fucking much, and he's my favorite classic author. And I love his work so much ever since I read The Great Gatsby for high school, for class, and I have not stopped obsessing over this man since, or his writing. I love The Beautiful and the Damned. I've also read that. So I feel like taking a book of classics is also necessary, or keeping a book of classics is also necessary. I don't really enjoy a lot of classics. I enjoy Frankenstein, and I love F. Scott Fitzgerald and anything that he writes. So I thought I would keep this, also because my sister bought it for me and she knows that I love F. Scott Fitzgerald, but also because F. Scott Fitzgerald writes literally the most beautiful words I've ever read, and I've wanted to get his words tattooed for so long. I haven't yet, but one day I will. And I just think to keep one that has like 5 novels in it is great, because you get 5 novels out of 1. And I know I'm cheating, but I love this book, and I love my sister for buying me this book, so I would definitely be keeping this book as well. And to finish it off, I have 3 more series, or 2 more duologies in a series that I will be bringing. The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. Honestly, did you see anything other than this coming? Because if you didn't, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I love Six of Crows. I would definitely be bringing Crooked Kingdom as well because of the scene at the end. But I love Six of Crows. Six of Crows is my favorite book. It's the best duology in the Grisha-verse that I've ever read. I love this so much. I love Kaz Brekker, I love Inej, I love Nina, I love Wylan, I love Jesper, I love them all. I love Matthias so fucking much, and they're my favorite people. I love this book duology so fucking much, and I read it at a perfect time in my life, and I have not stopped being affected by this fucking group of teenagers ever since. And I cannot see myself parting with this, and I will probably never be parting with this, because this is one of my favorite duologies of all time, and I now recommend it to every single person. It was literally my lock screen for the longest time, and it also helped me meet a friend at work because we both literally had the same lock screen that was Six of Crows related. So, you know, it's like a magnet to good things in my life. So I would definitely be bringing this. Ain't no way I'm giving this up, or Crooked Kingdom, so don't even try. And then I will be bringing the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas, and by the ACOTAR series I specifically mean the first, the second, and the third book, which is this one. So A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin, because those are the only 3 that I've read, and I've enjoyed them so much. I read them at the same time that I read what did I read with these? Oh, I read these in a readathon, and then I read the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy right after, so I was in a deep depression after those 2. So I specifically remember the time where I read these. This is the only copy of the series that I own, because I want the old copies, the old editions, because they now sell these ugly new editions that I hate so much. So I'm looking for older editions of these series, like the first publication covers. So I got the second one, and it's in the mail, and it's on its way. But the first one is being sold for like $50, $60, $80 on like random websites, and they were used. So I'm like, I'm gonna find a copy for sure, because I love these old covers so much. These are the original covers that I read them with when they first came out, and I just love this book series so much. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I love Rysand, and I love Farah, and I hate fucking Tamlin. But I love everyone in this book series so much, and they all feel like family, and I'm definitely gonna be rereading this month, so I definitely want to keep these, and I will never be parting with these because I just love this book series so much, and it just makes me blush, which I love, and I love a good romance, so I'm not getting rid of this. I don't know what to tell you. And then to cap it off, the final duology that I will be bringing with me, or keeping if my shelves were somehow destroyed and I had to only keep 30 books, would be The Strange the Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor, because I fucking love Laini Taylor. If you didn't understand that from me talking about A Dollar Smoke and Bone, this is her duology set in the city of Weep, where this man, it's not set in the city of Weep, it's about this man, his name is Laszlo Strange, and he's obsessed with this lost city of Weep that he wants to find so bad, and it's his life's mission that he just wants to find this city because he feels like he doesn't belong where he is, and he just like is into books and he reads, and he's doing all this research over the city of Weep just to try to find it, and he feels like he doesn't belong. And I relate to that to 100%, being different from people always, and just not relating and feeling like you have nowhere to belong and nowhere to be. And I just love the romance in this book series so much. I love every single character in this book series so much, or the duology so much, and I just love Laini Taylor's writing. I love this world. I cried my eyes out when I finished the second book, which is Museum Nightmares, and this book's duology definitely destroyed me, and I definitely want to reread it at some point, because I read it the first time with the library editions, so now I own my own copies, and I want to be able to like highlight and annotate and stuff. But I love this book duology so fucking much, and it's one of my favorites of all time, and I will never be parting with this ever. And look at the cover, it's shiny and beautiful, and both of them match. And the other one, the second one, has fucking moons and stars on the hardcover, and if you know me, you'll know that I love moon anything, and I literally have a moon tattooed on my finger, so it's fate that I love this series and that I keep it forever and ever and ever and never get rid of it. So yeah. But yeah, you guys, on that note, that concludes this video of if I only can keep 30 books of my collection, which ones they would be. I had a lot of fun creating this video. I loved making a list of all the books that I love and I want to keep. This list is probably never going to change, because they're just like my staple books, my comfort books, my books that I love so much, and I never, like, if I were to reread them over and over again and not reread or not read anything new, I probably wouldn't mind, and I would probably be okay with that. So yeah, those are the books that I would be keeping if I had to get rid of all my collection and keep only 30. I will link the original video down below. Like I said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know down below if your 30 books differ from mine, and if they do, which ones you would be keeping if you had the chance to. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Always remember to keep your head, heels, and standards high, and to treat people with kindness. And I'll see you guys again next week with another video. Bye, you guys.